Hello and welcome once again to Ignite Your Impact. My name is Jen Rhodes. I'm going to do a normal opening this week.
Thank God.
Maybe I won't. Thank God. I'm lovely.
No, I'm excited to be back this week.
And humble.
Yes.
I am too. I like this topic. I think it's incredibly apropos. Literally just had this conversation with a client this morning on I call it a love fest if I have just like a little one-off with a client. She's a friend, but she's like, can we just have a minute? I'm like, let's go get coffee. She's like, better yet, let's go walk 2 miles. I'm like, oh. Anyway, long story short, this topic layered perfectly with almost everything that we were just kind of gabbing on. It's good stuff.
Good. Yeah. Today's episode is, it's one that I've been sitting on for a while because I'm the one who kind of came up with today's episode, the idea, and we collaborated on it. And it's kind of been rolling around in my head, but it never really felt right until this week. Some things came together this past week, and then things previously, and it just kind of all mixed together. And I was like, let's talk about this subject.
It was. It just kind of like, bing, oh, this is perfect. Yeah,
we usually talk about fitness, business, and mindset. And I'm sure that we will tie all those in based on, our bullet points. But the title of the podcast is Ignite Your Impact. And that's what we're talking about today, is igniting that impact. And the title is The Mask That Protects Also Blocks.
I would like to start by just asking a question to all of our listeners. Feel free to shout out your answer. Have you ever caught yourself saying things like, I'm just not that kind of person. That's just not who I am. I'm too busy to take that on right now. Oh, that's me. Ooh, dear. Oh, geez. That's just not my strength. Or, I'm not ready yet. Maybe you've said, I'm not ready for a fitness coach yet. I want to get in shape first. They sound innocent. They all sound reasonable. But more often than not, those aren't facts. They are beliefs that protect you. They're masks. And here's the thing about masks. What protects you from your fear blocks you from your potential. And I want to say that again. What protects you from your fear also blocks you from your potential.
I would say we have everyone's attention now.
I think so.
That last piece there, that's pretty good.
Let's get into it.
The comfortable lie. Let's jump into that. It's we all wear masks. We do. And we don't do it to be fake. We do it to feel safe. We want to feel safe, and we want to fit in. We want to avoid being judged. We want to sidestep rejection, embarrassment, and judgment. And that's why we wear masks. We call these beliefs truths, but what they really are is they're emotional armor. We're wearing emotional armor, and we all do it. And let me give you an example. One of the most common things I hear from high achievers, and you just said it is I'm just too busy.
Did you just call me a high achiever?
I did. In a roundabout way, but I'm going to, maybe a mask.
We'll
see. But that's what I hear from high achievers is I'm just too busy. And it sounds very responsible, right? It sounds very adult. It's very grounded. I'm a busy person. I've got a lot going on. But when you peel that back, listen closely, when you peel that back, more often than not, what it really means is I don't want to fail at something new or fail again at this item. Or I'm scared I'll lose control. Or I'm afraid I might outgrow who I currently am, and that might cost me something. Or I don't understand it. I'm too busy translates into a lot of those things when you peel them back.
I'm going to add mine, if I may.
Okay.
I'm scared of being rejected and judged.
Yeah. I think I would say, I
And
don't
I think
understand
you know
it.
the exact thing I'm saying
Yeah,
I'm too busy for too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fear in that. We'll get to that one later. I'm working through it, guys. I'm self-aware. I'm working through it. I want to touch very briefly on the first one that you said, though. I don't want to fail at something new or fail again. This is a very common thing that is so deep and underlying in people's subconscious that it might keep them stuck. I have conversations daily with very high achieving women that tell me, oh, they've tried this or they've tried that, or they've done this or they've done that to kind of solve this weight loss thing, or they've spent money on this or they've spent money on that. And they've tried so many damn things that haven't worked that by the time a real, true, logical system shows up, by the time I show up, it is buried deep inside of them, the shame of all the time and all the money they have spent, that they are just so scared to fail again. And I get it. I get it. God, 100%, I get it. In the fitness world and in the business world, I get it. On one hand, you don't even know why you're making excuses because it's buried so deep, you don't even know it. And on the other hand, you have in the back of your mind, I can't tell my spouse I'm trying something new and that there's a financial commitment to it. They will flip out and just say, not again, no more. I love you too much, not again. And then the roller coaster starts.
Yeah, and that's a great point. When someone says I'm too busy, sometimes they are hiding, or when you peel it back, not hiding, you peel it back down deep, they just don't want to fail again. Another one that really, I told you that this podcast came to fruition because of things in the past and then things present, but I have a very present one where it hits on the last one, where someone says I'm too busy, but what it's doing, it's masking the fact that I don't understand it. Therefore, I'm going to use I'm too busy to avoid it.
Yeah.
And it's a mask that is worn. So, and I'm busy. So when someone tells me they're busy, I take that at face value. They probably are really, really busy.
We understand.
Yes. However, I stumbled on something this past week that is, like I said, what helped me say, hey, it's time to do this podcast. I stumbled on this past week when I got an I'm too busy. So a little backstory. I'm raising money. I'm raising money from investors to purchase an apartment complex. So I reached out to maybe 10, 15 guys and gals that I know, super smart, very successful, and thought this would be a really, really good opportunity for them. And they know that I'm investing in real estate, and I just want to see if they want to take a look at the opportunity. And lots of great calls. Everything went well. But one of them said, Matt, I'm super busy right now, and I just don't know if I can take anything else on. But because it's you, let's jump on the call. I'll give you, we'll chat for 30 minutes and catch up. So I said, great. So we do our call. I walk him through what the investment looks like, and it's super easy to understand. You don't have to be super smart like this guy and super successful to really understand how it works. And I go through it, and at the end of it, I said, "Hey, man, I know you already told me you were super, super busy, and even though this is 100% passive, man, I get it. This is not the right opportunity for you. I just kind of want to show you what I'm doing." And he says, "Matt, to be honest with you, I just didn't know how this worked. So I was really hesitant to take the call. I just didn't understand how this worked. But now that I see it, it's a no-brainer. This makes total sense."
That is incredibly vulnerable of him to say that.
Yeah.
I love that you were able to give him that space to be honest as well.
Yeah, and he's super busy. We're all busy, but he was using the I'm super busy as a mask to avoid a conversation about something that he may not know, which could be embarrassing. And it was very vulnerable of him to really outright admit that. It's like, man, I didn't know I didn't understand anything about this, and that's the reason I was using I'm too busy. And I will tell you, There is zero judgment. I mean, absolutely zero judgment for anyone on, that does this. And I actually respect this guy a lot more now that that he did this.
Yeah.
But I tell you this to drive home a point. Here's the point through that whole thing. Fear gets in the way of opportunity. And when I say opportunities that could change you forever. Possibly financially in this one, but possibly the way you feel about when you get up and you look in the mirror in the morning. In the example Jen just used with clients, I'm too busy because they're a fear that they are going to fail again. And fear gets in the way of opportunity.
So I want to get to the hidden cost of this mask.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
As you were talking, I remember a quote that your comfort zone is beautiful, but nothing ever grows there.
Yeah.
Right? And you might be feeling stagnant in your own life. I challenge you to find something daily that keeps you uncomfortable. It really, really cultivates massive growth, even if you're not ready to let go of that mask. It's easy to put it down, though, guys. But when we stay behind the mask, we stay in control. But we also stay small. I want you to think about this one. I got one for you. I'm not outgoing.
I knew that was coming. This is something that I used to say a lot.
And what did I always say? Bullshit.
I don't know. I tune everything out. But on paper, it was true.
Oh, you got to snort out of it.
On paper, it was true. I mean, I avoided like large social settings. I didn't really speak up in meetings if it was 10 or more people. If it was a small, intimate group, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I was fine. But outside of that, I try to keep to myself. And but over time, I realized something. It wasn't that I'm not outgoing. That was a mask I'm wearing. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that I'm not outgoing. It was I was afraid of being judged. I was afraid of being wrong and being visibly wrong, maybe not being enough. So I would say that I'm just not an outgoing person. I'm an introvert. And that shy identity protected me from rejection. Mm-hmm. But you just said something about staying small. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It also blocked me so it protected me from rejection, but it also blocked me from opportunities to build relationships with people that could change my life and I could change their life. It blocked me from seizing onto opportunities that required me to be seen in order to get those opportunities. And that mask, it kept me safe, but it also kept me stuck.
It kept you very stuck.
It got in the way of opportunities.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep saying that over and over today. It gets in the way of opportunities.
Yeah. I like that. One, watching you grow as we share our message in this podcast was one way that you have been able to kind of like exercise that fear of being judged.
Yeah.
Right? It's maybe not as public as, say, like a large group of people, but we affect a large group of people with our message here. And I would say your growth over the last year and a half, 2 years that we've had this podcast, just in exercising that, you take bigger risks in that public space. Yeah. I will say very recently you ripped this mask off, and I could probably pinpoint the moment that you decided to take the mask off in the elevator down. You just poured through a room. It was amazing, and it filled me full of pride watching you, and it was sexy as hell. We were at an event, and Matt very much needed to make connections, and it wasn't any space that we were comfortable in, nor did we have any real safe spots. We were strangers. And I was there as his whoopee. I was his security blanket. I was not there to part crowds for him. That was his job. He had to kind of like stare down this dragon himself, but I was definitely there as his security blanket. You can call me your whoopee.
Yeah.
But it helped him stay comfortable knowing that I was there. But I will say, you did not need me. You didn't need me one bit. At one point, I was like, I'm just arm candy at this point. You are owning your space. And it was so amazing to watch. He worked that room. He made connections. I had to pull him away sometimes like, bro, we got to go eat. But these connections have led to some massive deals for him. And I will share how that mask came off in a little bit. But I want to switch gears really quick. I want to jump into the not ready lie. I'm not ready because it is a big one. And a few years ago, I had an opportunity to step into a much bigger role in our brick and mortars. And I know everybody, like, if you're listening, you're like, a bigger role within your own company. Don't you run it already? And I'm like, yes, I do. But Matt brings an unbelievable amount of energy and focus and wisdom to the back end of our business. You may not see him often in our gyms, but he is a force inside what makes them chug forward. But he was needing to pivot and be less involved in our companies. And that meant I needed to step into those roles on the back end, on like the business side of things that he previously handled. And immediately, what did I say to myself? I'm not ready yet. Are you sure? Are you sure you can't still do this? I don't know enough. That old language that kept me stuck. I'm not smart enough for this. Who am I to do this? And it was just classic imposter syndrome. It was that mask that kept me safe, right? Like I played dumb so that I didn't have to play big. Ooh, I like that. And I convinced myself that I was being humble. I was self-deprecating to stay small. I thought I was being wise. But if I'm being honest, it wasn't humility. It was fear. It was straight up fear. And that voice in my head, the one that was trying to protect me, was actually blocking my future. And guess what? I shut the voices up. I ripped them out, shut them up, slapped some duct tape on their lips, right? I stepped up. I was not 100% ready, but I grew into it. And now looking back, I realize I was never supposed to feel ready.
Yeah, that's great.
Thanks.
Very true.
It was.
You know, the mask always comes with a trade. Always comes with a trade. Every mask offers you comfort, also demands a cost. Also demands a cost, every one of them. In Jen's fitness example, she mentioned at the very beginning with clients, the cost to those clients by saying I'm too busy, but in all actuality they're afraid of losing again, the cost was a complete change in their life. Where they're proud to go to the lake, they're proud to go to the pool and do those things. In my investor example, it was a cost of missing opportunities. And I think if you go back through everything we're talking about, it's always about missing opportunities to look better, to feel better, to perform better. Because that mask that you're using to protect you. So you can build a deep connection. Or you cannot build a deep connection and be guarded. You just can't do that. You can't lead and stay hidden. You can't move forward without pulling that mask down. You can't grow and stay in control. That's the big one. You can't grow and stay in control. That's the one I want to mention because that's where you were at. You wanted to stay in control, but you couldn't grow that way. And here's the truth. Here's the truth that I want you to think about. I'm having tongue twisters today.
That's okay.
You can't become the person you were meant to be and stay perfectly safe at the same time. That goes for everyone.
Wow.
For Jen's, for mine, for investors, you cannot become the person you were meant to be or do the things you were meant to do and stay safe all the time. Sometimes you have to step out and take a few risks. Taking that mask off. Maybe write this down. This is exactly where Jen was when she took over those responsibilities in the fitness company. She needed to become the person she was meant to be. But it's scary. So if you've been protecting yourself, I get it. I did the same thing. You heard my example earlier. But I want you to ask you, what is it costing you to continue to wear that mask? What have you not tried, not started, or said, because of this belief, I'm not going to do it, but it was actually just a disguise?
Okay. Let's talk solutions.
Yes.
Because I'm all about tactics. You do not have to throw away all of your protective insights overnight. Don't go run out in the middle of traffic just because it seems uncomfortable. Deal? That's dangerous. That's not intelligent. I want you to develop a curiosity. There are 3 questions that can help you drop this mask. And this first one definitely helped me uncover and peel that onion quick to where I could really identify what was holding me back. So the first one, what belief is currently keeping me safe, but also small? Maybe it's, I'm not creative, or, I'm already too late to start, or maybe my body just isn't going to do this. So what belief is currently keeping you safe? I don't have the right skills. Right? The next question is, what's the fear underneath it? What are you really afraid of?
That's where it gets scary when you start answering this question.
What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of failure? Are you afraid of rejection? Are you afraid of not being seen? Not being loved? Shame? Oof. Those are some powerful emotions. What's the fear underneath this? What is the problem? And then number 3, what might become possible if I stopped using this belief as protection? This is the one that Matt used to work the room. What might be possible? What's the best thing that could happen? What's the absolute best thing that could happen here? And when he got that into his head, he just moved. It's that simple. It really is, guys. What might be possible? What is the best possible thing that could happen here? That's where dreaming starts. That's where that high vibration starts. He turned that fear into a high vibration. And it was almost beautiful to watch the magnetism of people start approaching him. Hey, I'm told I need to talk to you. And that happened multiple times. And I was just like, okay, should you start signing autographs?
Yeah, when you lay out those 3 questions, I will tell you, I have a tough time with 1 and 2. Me personally. That third one is what helps me. I have a hard time, what's keeping me safe, but keeping me small. And then what fear do I have? I don't know. For me, I personally have to go to that third one. What is the possibility? Because when I do that, I overcome those other ones. So when Jen went over those, if you're having a hard time saying, well, I don't know how to, maybe you have a hard time saying those things yourself, go to the third one and just start there. That's what I personally do. What's the possibility? And then that helps alleviate the fear for me.
I actually start with 2, but I like answering 1 because I need to know what my dragon is I'm up against so I don't have to face it again.
I don't want to know. I just want to think about possibilities.
You just want to run into the dark. No worries. Got it.
So maybe you try all 3. Maybe you try 1. Maybe you try 2. Who knows what works best for you?
I like a good combination. Yeah. But today's episode is about awareness because once you see the mask, once you see that dragon, once you realize that scary ass monster at the corner of your room is actually just a pile of fucking clothes, you can choose to attack. You can choose to take that mask off. So what is fear's real job?
Fear's real job is, it's not your enemy. And this whole time we've been talking about that, I want to make it clear. Fear is not your enemy. That's not where it's at. Fear's okay. It tells you, before I tell you what it tells you, like I said, fear is not your enemy. However, you have to understand fear is something different than what you've always thought it was.
Yes.
When you start thinking about fear this way, what I'm getting ready to tell you right now, it will change everything. Fear is meant to tell you, hey, this matters. When that fear starts to creep in, it says, this matters.
I just think about this. I'm going to go biblical.
Okay.
When the angels appear on, like, as Mary's getting ready to give birth to Jesus, and she appears before the shepherds, like, lo, and hold still, do not be afraid.
Yeah.
Right? They were terrified, fear. Wait, no, don't be afraid. This matters.
Yes.
I love that comparison that fear is meant to tell you this is important.
Yep. So when you have that fear, that's a great analogy. Can't get any better than that.
I mean, the good Lord.
But fear, when you have fear, here's what it really means. It doesn't mean put on your mask and say, I'm not outgoing, I'm an introvert, I'm too busy, or all those things. What it means is this matters. It also means there is growth here. And last, it means you're about to level up.
Yes.
You get scared, know that something matters, know that there's something here, there's growth here, and you're about to level up. That's where the fear comes from. So instead of running from it, you have to listen to it. But you got to slow down in order to do that. You start listening to it. Instead of saying, I'm too busy, what if you said, I'm scared, but I'm willing? Instead of saying, I'm not outgoing, instead you said, I'm going to work on trying to have my voice heard. Because when you name that mask, you get the power back from it.
This is phenomenal, by the way. I want to close this up, though, by saying the mask that protects you also blocks you. I blocked myself from major successes because that fear of judgment. I even self-sabotaged for decades because of that fear, but it kept me safe, right? If you want to grow in your business, in your relationships, in your health, in your mindset, you've got to take a few masks off. And it's uncomfortable. Is it terrifying? No. But it's uncomfortable. But that's how you know you're headed in the right direction. Now, if this resonated with you, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to share this with someone who's been playing small. And if this was shared to you, know that the person that sent it to you loves you and recognizes your worth and your power. And if you're ready to start, if you're ready to stop wearing your mask or start dropping your mask, I want you to reach out. I want you to send us a message. Let's talk about what that could look like for you. Business, fitness, finance, personal health, wellness, whatever space, whatever mask you're wearing, if you're ready to put it down, let's have that conversation. So until next time, guys, I want you to keep going, keep growing, and don't let fear write your story. We'll talk next time.